Well, welcome to another episode of Rim Shots with Sean, right here on the Rock Rage Radio Network, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk, the Curtain Call Records segment that's become a very popular segment here lately. With me, I have Mike Butchar from the band Becoming Wolves. And Mike, where are you residing?
With the band, we're out of the New York metropolitan area. You know, some of us are from the Hudson Valley, New York City, White Plains, and New Jersey.
So, obviously, everybody knows today's Veterans Day in the States, Remembrance Day here in Canada. And then tomorrow, the silly season starts, and New York will be lighting up for Christmas, which is one of the most beautiful places in the world to visit.
100%, you know, and we honor our veterans here as well.
That is fantastic. So tell me about Becoming Wolves.
Becoming Wolves, we're a hard rock band out of the New York area. We tend to be a little more rooted. You know, I'm a blues based guitar player, but our music is heavy and it's got a good groove to it and it's got a good thump. I've heard, you know, I mean, I'm very influenced by Texas Hippie Coalition, Blackstone Cherry, and of course, you know, old school thrash. So we combine all those elements. I hear we have a little of Corrosion Conformity and White Zombie in us, but we just put out what comes to us, you know. So it's we're not shooting for anything. It's just what's in our DNA.
So obviously a very vibrant music scene, East Coast. I mean, I remember when I was coming up and learning how to play. You know, there was always the East Coast, which was New York, versus the West Coast, which was L.A. Two very distinct sounds. You know, even the thrash metal of, you know, say the Bay Area versus the thrash
Yeah.
metal of New York was very unique. Um, just give my viewers a sense of you know, who you guys are and what you are in terms of sound. You mentioned a couple of bands, but you know, what would be a comparable for the band if somebody was looking to find you guys?
If somebody was looking to find us, you would just find a couple elements. You'd find a lot of Blackstone Cherry because we tend to be heavy and we tend to have a nice thud to us, but our choruses are very catchy. We don't try to, it's just they just happen to have they're memorable. You know, they have a certain memorable quality about them. So we like to hit hard, we like to hit heavy, but we also want to hit you with a melody as well. And you know, our vocalist, Ace Vincent, I call it the man of many voices. He's like ace of seven voices. He could hit you mellow, he can hit you hard, he can hit you ultra hard, you know, and it adds a lot. It adds a lot. It's a good weapon in our arsenal. But we're a heavy band that has a certain groove to it. You want to call it black dirt metal, as they've been calling it. You know, we have a certain element of groove metal in us, you know. It's just from our influences, but we always try to make sure we have a good hook in the song so we can reel you in. Songwriting something we're very, very, very cognizant of.
So in terms of what you guys have been doing in 2024, and I mean, it's hard to believe 2024 is almost done. Um, but what have you been up to? And obviously, you're looking ahead to 2025. But what's been going on for you guys?
2024, I'm myself and Gonzalo Martinez, the drummer. We had split from another local band because we just had a different vision, and so we decided to form Becoming Wolves. We had a great base of songs with us. We started working with producer Mike Orlando. Everybody probably knows him from Adrenaline Mob, Corey Glover's Universe, and now Category 7. You know, he's the guitar guru, but he's also our producer extraordinaire. And we've been working with Mike for most all of 2024. We had a couple of holes. We didn't have a bass player, and we got Eddie B in, and he holds a good bottom line in. And we were missing one element, and that was a dynamic vocalist. So we did wait a long time. I think we got Ace sometime around June, and then we ran right back into the studio to get the vocals done. And now, right now, we're polishing the live set. We have some shows coming up for 2025. They're going to be really good. Some I can talk about, some I can't talk about. But we're slowly booking shows now, and we're also working with Muncie Ricci for our radio promotions for skateboard marketing. So we have a lot of things going, and 2025 is going to be our year.
So I'm always fascinated when, you know, the curtain call guys, or a lot of the curtain call bands that I talk to, when they bring in producers, they're always producers of a certain pedigree. Like everybody I've talked on the label seems to be, very few are self-produced. If they are, there's a lot of experience with that. How would one, I guess, connect or hook up or wind up working with the producer, such as you guys did? Because obviously, Adrenaline Mob. I mean, one of my favorite drummers ever used to play in Adrenaline Mob, which was AJ Pero, and I think Mike Portnoy was in there for a
Rest his
bit.
soul.
But absolutely, absolutely. But how would you guys connect with those guys?
Mike was a simple phone call. I knew a guy who knew a guy, and then we started hitting him up on Messenger, with what we wanted to do, and we got a good recommendation from our good friend Pete Rizzi from the band Who on Earth. You might know of them. They had a really big hit with "Hold the Line" from Toto. Got over a
Nice.
million views on YouTube.
Well, and stuff like that is, I mean, people don't understand. I mean, I do a lot of social media, and people get hung up on numbers. There's numbers and then there's true numbers.
Oh,
And I did see what they did, and they had a lot of true views as opposed to, anybody can
yes.
get a million views, but, it's one thing to get them once. It's one thing to engage them and keep them. So, yeah, they did some great work. Um, how many songs are we talking that you guys have coming out?
We got 6 songs coming out, but we might go in and do another one or two real quick, just to get you guys some more bang for the buck. But right now we got 6 killer tracks ready. And killer tracks ready to go. And we have a couple of more. We have a song called "Garden of Pain" that we're really looking to get in and bring out too. It's just a good mid-tempo sludgy song with just like a really dynamic chorus, and I think why withhold that. I think we want to get that one in too. And you're right, you hit the number on the head with views and true views. Too many bands waste a lot of time on things like "You Grow" because they think, oh, it's going to show we got 10,000 views, 30,000 views, but those views aren't helping you. Our last video, "Ignite the Fire," we got 20,000 true views. We got a lot of hits from Argentina. And you can tell we started off when we released the video, we had 16 subscribers. And I think we're at like 380 now.
Yep.
It just shows the views. It's more accurate and it helps the band more. You got to get out there and promote.
You do. Myself working with a gentleman by the name of Michael Brandwell that used to work with Kiss. Michael's always talking about the views and not getting caught up in this whole, and the big one is, things go viral. But the thing with viral videos, unfortunately, is they're not enduring. You got a lot of people that'll go and watch, you know, some guy burp the alphabet, but they won't go back to do anything. And so, it sounds to me like what you guys are doing is the right course of action because a lot of people miss that. A lot of people overlook it and they don't understand how it works.
Yeah, well, we've learned from mistakes. In our previous band, we thought that views were everything, and we went the whole "You Grow" route, and it did nothing for us. It just emptied our wallets. That's all. You know, Simple social media promotions will bring people to your channel, and it'll bring people from other areas. And, listen, having a great label like Curtain Call behind us, pushing us and getting us out there, that helps. It helps,
No question.
you
And I
know.
mean, the popular thing is to do it yourself. But I was talking with somebody this morning, and do it yourself can be very cumbersome because, you get one piece done and then 10 other things come up and you still have to write, you still have to perform, you still have to promote. And so that's why, a label that in particular supports independent artists, I think is very key for growth and trajectory and momentum and all those things.
Yeah, one of the things, Curtain Call helped. John Combs, the CEO of Curtain Call, gave us a really good bit of advice. He had said to us, he gave us a list of questions. Do you do this on your live show? Do you do this on your live show? And we're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We're thinking we're saying the right things. He's like, oh my God, no. He goes, when you do a show, you need to have the show you're doing tonight is the show you're doing tomorrow and the next. You got to have consistency. You got to go out there with a script. You can't just go out there and finish a song, go, this next song is an original we wrote. People don't want that. Like Lemmy said, they don't want to see the guy next door. They want to see somebody from outer space when you're on stage. You want to give an arena sized show in a small club, in a small bar. That's one of the things that a lot of people lack, and you see it all the time. And it makes a big difference in the reaction you get and the callbacks you get and the people who come back. And that's what we want. We want people to come back. I mean, first and foremost, I want people to enjoy our music, the stuff that came from our hearts. But we got to give them a product. They want to be entertained.
That's sound advice that John gave, and I'll tell you why. It's funny because I was playing a show a couple of years ago, and it was in one of the biggest bars where I live, and we do a set, and I'm walking off the stage, and this guy calls me over, and he goes, you guys look like a band. He goes, I can't tell the difference between the people eating chicken wings in the bar and the people that are playing the music, and his point was exactly what you said. Um, and it's almost, and this is just my opinion, but man, if you see a band and they're doing 2 nights, you should almost have an absolute duplicate version of the show both nights, um, because that's how the pros do it.
Yeah. You go see Motley Crue. I mean, results may vary, unfortunately, but
Right.
they give you everything, and it's scripted to the T. And it's not that we don't improvise off things, or we're giving you a cookie cutter thing. We just know the show we want to give. Our set list doesn't even have set list written on it. It's called the show.
Yep.
Because we want to get out there, we want to leave it all. And listen, I could play the best guitar solo in the world, give you the most well constructed songs. But if I'm just standing there and in between songs, Ace isn't offering you some dynamic speech, that makes you feel like you're at a show, you're just going to say, yeah, I saw them. They were all right. Local band, but when you give them a show, they're like, oh, those guys are like really friggin' good. There's a difference.
Absolutely. And I have a friend that he uses the line, look good, play good. And I mean, I think you really have to approach things from that. You have to approach things like you've got a light tech, you a light man or a light woman that's running this huge thing. You got pyro, you have, this big world class sort of thing set up where there's X's on the stage so you don't get blown up and all those things, even if you're playing in a little club. Because unfortunately, what happens is a lot of people don't do that. They work so hard to get a show, they forget about that other next level sort of thing. And even when people come out, they don't appreciate it. You have to do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be vain and say that I haven't played for the bartender at times. We all have, but
Yep.
you got to give the same show. Sometimes, listen, sometimes we're in really great places and we have really great crowds, and it's so easy to have that energy. And then sometimes, all of a sudden, the band before brings a ton of people, and they immediately leave, and it's
Yep.
the bartender, the doorman, your friends, and like one or two people. You got to get out there and deliver, because you make an impression on that one person, they could tell somebody else.
Well, and that's really, people use this term organic growth, and I don't really think people understand what it means. And I think thinking about this a lot lately, Mike, and I think what happens is, especially if you're in the cover world, it's like, oh, you got to have so many people and they got to be dancing, they got to be doing this and doing that. But, if you're trying to get your own thing out there and you grab 10 new fans, that's 10 fans that'll stay with you versus, 500 people that go see a cover band. Depending upon the room, they're just going to go for the room and the experience, not necessarily the band, right? So I think what you're hitting on there is organic growth, which is very important.
Yeah. And what you build between other bands also carries over. I was in a touring band several years back called Dirty Black Seven. And I remember we used to do a nice little run through Memphis, up through Houston, Texarkana, back down to Austin, down to was it Lafayette, back up to Tennessee and up, and then we'd go into Rhode Island. And there are people who still followed my career after I left Dirty Black Seven, like when I went to Incognito Theory, and to now Becoming Wolves. I think Becoming Wolves it's the band that I'm the happiest with, because I think I was able to find four like-minded musicians, and they all had experience. Ace was out of the Irish punk scene originally. He was in a band called 22 Pints. Eddie came from Core Rozic, got a lot of road time with Core. I don't know if you guys know Core Rozic, but he's a road
Yep.
warrior. And Gonzalo, he played drums for 10 years with Marcy Playground, you know? And let me tell you, if you listen to Marcy Playground and you listen to what we're doing, this man's a monster of a drummer. No more brushes. He's a hitter.
Well, and the where I come from, it's really funny because it's like sometimes that's frowned upon. I'm definitely that type of player, and I've got a band, well, two bands that I play in, but sometimes when there's a fill in, I might not be the guy that's called because they think I want to pound things into the ground, right? But I wear that with pride because it's taken a long time to get to that point where you're, consistent and those types of things. So good on him, man, because I think
Yeah.
that's the way they're meant to be played, no question.
And it's funny, if you watch the Ignite the Fire video, since you're a drummer, you'll
Yeah.
see he holds his sticks traditional jazz style. And I tell him, I'm like, how do you hit that hard, holding your sticks like that? I've played with guys who hit hard and they're holding them like they're holding baseball bats, and he's got that jazz thing. But let me tell you, the man could hit.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny because not to get too into the weeds on technique, but a lot of drummers will tell you that's actually the proper way to play drums. I mean, I could never do
Yeah.
it properly, but that's fine. So last question here, Mike. My viewers, and we're really starting to get a nice little cadence here with the curtain call artists, where they're going and they're sussing out the material and going and looking for the folks. So where can my viewers slash listeners find out more about you guys?
Okay, easy. We're on Facebook, Becoming Wolves. You can find us on YouTube, Becoming Wolves, and you can actually tune into the Ignite the Fire music video and, leave a like, leave a comment. And hey, listen, if you don't like what you hear, just say, hey, I don't like it. If you love it, but say you love it. I hope you love it. And you can find us there. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Spotify. I think for the European crowds, I think it's Deezer. But you can find us streaming worldwide everywhere. You can find us on the Curtain Call website. We're currently working on our own website, and unfortunately, it's me doing it, so it's taking forever to do because I'm a guitar player. I'm not an IT guy.
Yeah. Well, you'll figure it out. Mike, I want to thank you for doing this and look forward to seeing what you guys have coming up in 2025.
Beautiful. Peace out.
We are back on the Rock Ridge Radio Network after this.